Hi guys, welcome to the Man United Agenda. Yes, it's Wednesday night. We've got something different for you tonight. I'm joined by Bath Time, and we're going to be quizzing Rafa downstairs. We've brought him on today to talk all things grassroots football, semi-pro football level, and coaching as well. So tune in. Hi guys, welcome to the Man United Agenda. We are back, and feeling kind of lifted after yesterday's result. Let me just say this, Bath Time. I mean, I've gone into work today, I've been on social media, I've had phone calls, WhatsApp groups, everyone's saying, we played shit. And I kind of been defending the lads. I've been saying, no, we had a lot of chances, we turned around in the second half, absorbed what they had, turned around in the second half, we had to create a lot of chances, and we could have won at least 4-0, we didn't. But we're through. We got the points. Not we're through, but we got the points that we required. So I thought we played okay. I'm not one of these people going around saying we played shit. Your feelings now? We've had like 24 hours almost to sort of absorb it.
Yeah, I pretty much stand by what I said yesterday. Is that there were quite a lot of positives in it. It's the first time that I've seen Ten Hag change a match where Bruno Fernandes hasn't gone to centre back and things like that. I think that the sort of rest defence was a big issue yesterday with Amrabat, Reguilon, and Maguire on that side. And I still think it was an issue later in the game, but at least we had Eriksen who's able to break lines and things. So I think it's quite. I think they're getting there, but it's too slow, OMONDI. They just can't seem to grasp the basics. And now we got a coach on. We can talk about how you get your message across to players, what can be improved, what can't be improved, things like that. So I'm really excited.
Guys, we're here to showcase Rafa. You're a Man United fan as well. That helps as well. So welcome to the Man United Agenda. Everyone's here watching. This is a big time for you to showcase what you got. You're a Man United fan. Did you watch the game yesterday, first of all?
I watched 10 minutes of it. I didn't have enough time, but I'll watch the replay later on. Yeah.
So what are your thoughts? I mean, because I'm hearing all my friends and buddies are saying we played shit, and I disagree. What are your thoughts on Man United? Just like yesterday and a summary for this season so far.
I mean, just in general, it's been a bit stop and start. I mean, the results, for example, Nottingham Forest 2-0 down and then grinding out 3-2, losing to Galatasaray at home. I mean, it could be more comfortable, but I'm always behind Ten Hag because there's always been injuries and he's had to really weed out the dead wood and really establish a squad. And I'll always be behind him just because of his play style, and whether that takes another season of transition, so be it. But I think once everyone is on the same page, he'll have a proper team, just like it was Ajax 4 years ago.
So you're Ten Hag in, which I'm pleased. We're on the same page.
Yeah. I'll always be in until he does something ridiculous, but I don't think he will do.
All right, let's go for some comments, guys. Welcome to Bite saying, hello, Mr. Tate. I'm chuffed by the derby, mainly Haaland versus Maguire matchup. Do you expect another pasting like last year when Leeds, Bourne, Haaland, and local boy Foden scored 3 each? That was in the game at City. We beat them 2-1 at home. Don't forget that. We're playing them at home this week, I'm sure. Jeff, how you doing? Saying, Bart, every time I think I might actually like you, it's the kind of post that makes me hate you Liverpool fans that much more, because Bart's a Liverpool fan, of course. I need to start haunting Stoney and other Liverpool channels for fun. Yes, you do that, Jeff. He's also saying, Bart, the 20-year-olds, I don't know what he's saying there. Big up, Jeff, though, by the way. Totally irrelevant, but makes me happy. Vincent in the house as well. Welcome, guys. Make sure you press the like button. We've got Mr. B as well. Mr. B, one of our regulars, saying, evening, gents and ladies in the chat. Well done, Mr. B, with the watch along yesterday as well. And he's saying here, welcome to the honest coach. And that's you, Rafa. What's that mean, the honest coach? I mean, that's on Instagram. You're known as the honest coach. Where'd you come up with this name?
Because I'm very straightforward and straight to the point. Like with my plays as well, they all know me. I'm not going to mess around. I'm not going to say you were good when you weren't. I'm very straight to the point. Maybe I might rephrase it, so I won't call them I won't say you were terrible, but I'll rephrase it and they'll know what I'm talking about. So we're all on the same page, hence why I'm honest.
Good, good. And I hope your players agree with you as well. All right, bath time. Anything you want to drop before we go into this?
Sorry, no, not really. Although actually, I forgot to tell you. This probably
Yeah.
isn't interesting to anyone else, but I played this season against two identical twins in a midfield, and it affected me quite a lot.
Go
I just
on.
wasn't used to seeing that. And when I did my shopping, I saw them out together. Yeah, so that's been the highlight of my day.
I mean, how do you say? Do you say to them like, pick up this guy, or you go by numbers, don't you? Because obviously got different numbers. That must help.
I think. Do you know what? I think
was
we
the main
called them
issue?
A. I think we called them A and B.
Right.
They weren't very good, but I just remember seeing them and thinking,
Yeah.
oh, for God's sake.
There's
Like-
there's a team in Step 6, Rising Ballers, Kensington,
Yeah.
and their wingers are twin brothers, and we played against them in August. Sorry?
And they got hair, Moroccan boys.
Yeah, like dreadlocks.
Okay,
sort of.
all right, yeah.
And we lost to them 3-1 when I was playing against them, and I was so confused because one of them was left and right footed, but they would switch, or when it would get like chaotic in the corners, you wouldn't know who to mark.
Yeah, my
Especially on
ones were
corners
playing in a
with
pivot.
keepers as well. That must be tough.
Yeah.
Big up Rising Ballers. I used to follow them. They used to play in the ground next to me. I used to go and watch their home games as well. Big up Maz, Coach Maz as well.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into this, guys. Rafa, this is over to you. Now, we're going to ask you a lot of questions, mainly about football. For one, I know you're a semi-pro footballer, and I've seen some of your highlights. Darius, BATHTIME, is also a midfielder. I wish I could be as influential as you guys, but I love your play. I love how you play your football. So obviously you're playing at a good level, semi-pro, and also you're coaching as well. But let's take a way back. All right, how old are you, and what got you into football, and to this stage now? Let's just give a little summary about this is your life.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been part of the grassroots football, like Sunday league level, Sunday mornings. Since I was like 7, 8 years old, I just got involved. So I used to play for Headstone Manor and then Pinner Albion. And then I slowly got into academies like Barnet and Wycombe Wanderers at around 15, 16 years old. Got involved there. I enjoyed like every year. Every year was a learning experience for me. And being a left footer, it's quite easy to stand out on a Sunday pitch, especially if you're very good and natural on the ball. It takes 1 or 2 dribbles for people to notice you, and then you can work your way through, especially at youth level. So then I was at a few academy setups for quite a while, which really helped my development. And then I got into under 18 football, like semi-pro, but under 18 from the first team. So North Greenford, and then I went down to Leatherheads under 23s. I was there for 2 years. And every year, as I said, really helped my experience. Also Hartley Whitney under 23s, but they had a full-time academy set up. So we were training every day during lockdown. So I've been in environments where like the coaching is very, very detailed and to the point. And I've realized I've compared the level of coaching I received from certain coaches to other coaches, and I've seen my play style be affected, whether that's positive or negative. So with coaches that would be very generic and say, oh, be better on the ball, work hard. The message isn't clear. Like, what does work hard mean? Does that mean I just sprint up and down and then lose energy? Or be better on the ball? What does that mean? Do I start doing turns in my own half, lose the ball? But you said be better on the ball. So, but then other coaches in the higher academy levels, they would be more precise. They would say, when you get the ball, try and get it on the back foot, half turn, play out wide, off another angle to play forward. And then I've realized the more instructions a player has, the easier they can express themselves. It sounds weird. If you tell a player, play your game, I think they'll still get confused. But if you tell them, you can express yourself, but these are your requirements, naturally they get into their zone. And that zone is where you do things that you can't really explain after the game. And that's what I've realized has helped me a lot when I've managed to get into that zone from certain coaches who have allowed me to do that. That's when I've really expressed myself. And at non-league level, it's so easy to lose your identity as a player. It's so easy because you could go to a team that's a long ball team and you just don't fit in. And you might end up thinking, wow, maybe I'm not good enough. No, you are good enough. You just, unfortunately, not in that right environment. And that's what I've experienced myself personally countless times, thinking that okay, I'm clearly good enough on the board, but why is it in games I can't have an impact? And that's because the coaching or the environment isn't there for me to express myself. So I've always moved around a lot of teams because I've tried to stay true to myself as a player.
Yeah.
And that's why I've always moved around until I found like a certain coach or a certain environment where I can, express myself.
Bath time, you want to add to that? Because did you experience the same things bath time? Any similarities there?
No, not really. To be honest, like I'm pleased to be talking to another left footer though. It's the sexiest trait any man can have. It's been left footed. Honestly, it's like we're fetishized. You never hear one of the right foot.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, for me, I agree with what you say, but only for the coaching side. Like, I used to like being told, like, what my specific weaknesses were. I remember, like, when I was in Chile, a guy told me that, like, I wasn't concentrated enough on unbalancing a player when I was carrying the ball. Like that, like it's something I think that Jadon Sancho has in the Premier League as well. It all looks nice, but you're not getting the guy off balance because you're not committing him early enough.
Yeah.
But in a game, I don't mind having limited instructions because I didn't go through the academy system. I tried very hard, but they wouldn't have me. But I like solving problems as a team on the pitch. Like I've always been that way, and I know it's a different way of thinking of the game, but I always believe that the manager and the coaches were to prepare us for the match the best that they could, and then on the pitch you got 11 other players who've been prepared the best that they can as well, and as a team you got to solve problems, and then at half time the manager can say, get wide, get inside, like, and all these different things. But I always preferred like the coach working on my weaknesses during the week, and then when we go out there, especially as you get more experience, you understand how to, like, when to go fast, when to go slow, like when to go wide, and all these different things. But I mean, like, I'm quite an old player now, so I probably would have enjoyed that, like, in my teenage years. But no, not now.
I think most certainly. I mean, look, when you look at English football, this is something that's disheartening. A lot of players need to go abroad, like yourself, Bath time, to get to play. I've seen you play, Rafa, and I just think sometimes you're not suited, or you're not appreciated in English game. Do you think there's some truth to that still? Because when I was growing up, it's all about physicality. I was bigger boys getting picked over me just for being physical when I might have been technically better than them. Do you think that's still present in the game today?
Yes, and I've experienced it even last week or 10 days ago, really. So I play at a step 5 level, and I received an offer to go to a step 4 team, so one division higher.
Yeah.
And I went to that team, and in training, it was very clear my technical ability and everything. So I thought I would fit in very easily. Come match day on my first game, I got my 90 minutes and we won. But because the manager didn't want us to play football because they're in a relegation battle and everything. Now, when I'm as a centre midfielder, when you're looking upwards and the balls and you're doing shuttle runs, honestly, back and forth, when do you ever manage to trap the ball and play a pass? When you do play the pass and you offer, that guy launches it because that's what the instructions are. So, it's like the coach might have the best ball playing team, but if they are under pressure from the chairman because of a certain relegation battle or anything, that goes out of the window, and there's no trust in the player. It's rather the safety way of playing, and for them it's go long and see what happens, which is quite interesting and frustrating to be a part of in certain teams. Absolutely, yeah.
I think if you haven't, how do you feel for a player if you haven't got the physical attributes to compete? Say you're in the midfield hub and you're up against some big units in there. I mean, obviously you need the team that's going to help you play football around these guys. But if you're in, like you said, if you're in a midfield battle, you're going to lose that physical battle up against a team that's going to bully you in a sense like that. Is there any ways? Because I've seen the way you shield. You're not a giant of a player.
Yeah.
But you shield the ball really well. You can hold off people, and it's an art, isn't it? Be able to sort of hold people off. So when you're in these battles with these physical guys, are you able to sort of compete with using your body shape and that kind of thing to shield the ball?
Yeah, I mean, that just goes down to the basics. Like when I was in Sunday League, I was told ball, body, opponent. If you have the ball and yourself and the opponent's behind you, the only way they can touch the ball is if 90% of the time they foul you because they have to go through you. But I've also realised that it's all about anticipation. If I can build my anticipation, I can anticipate the second ball when it drops, maybe 1 or 2 seconds quicker than that big physical guy. So if I get that first touch, I'm off. And then if he catches me, fair enough, it might be a foul or it becomes a 50-50. But I think it's the anticipation, because sometimes I know I'm not going to win the header. So I'd rather drop off, realise that, okay, when he heads it, where's that ball going to land? Can I be there? And can I play and pop it off? So I think physically at this men's football as well, especially at this level where it's a lot of long balls, you have to work on the mental aspect to say, okay, physically I'm not going to always compete. Where can I be to get on the ball on the second or even on the third ball? It could drop and you go. I think that's the game.
You agree with that bath time? I mean, playing this sort of physical game. I mean, a lot of semi-pro clubs, they do play a lot of rough football. It's not really pretty to watch.
Yeah, I don't have too much experience of it in England, but like, I'm a weak player. Like, I'm quite small, and I'm slow, and I don't have a lot of muscle because I was told that would slow me down even more, but apparently that's not the case. But I also quite like aerial games, like. Sort of, it's like being in like World War One or something, where they're like bombing the trenches, and I really like being part of a team. So like when you're there in your block, sort of defending, and you get in, and like you come out with a cut elbow or whatever from something. Like I like the sort of like the aggression behind it. It is extremely frustrating as a ball player though when you get an hour of that.
Yeah, it honestly is.
And the only thing that I have physically over most people is that I'm a long distance runner, so I can go for ages. And in those games, I find that it's just stay in the game for like 60, 70 minutes, and then we can get going afterwards.
Yeah.
But there's nothing worse than a wet March day where it's, you've got Big Dave, the centre back, who's just been kicking the ball long since he was 6, and he's just booting it up the pitch, and you've got to get up and you've got to keep going, and now I don't even contest the balls. I just shoulder men about, like when they jump and things.
Like Rafa was saying,
shoulder them.
Okay.
And then when the ball comes, it's always like when it does drop, it's always an opportunity. Like that's where you show what you're good at. So you take your first touch, you get it out, and then you can do all sorts of different things. But so I quite like those games because I like the physical side of it, but also it's your touches are far more important in them matches because there's less of them, and that's where you got to show that the quality and the football that you like to play is more effective. And so I like the challenge of them games.
That's a great point. It leads me on to this now, because what you've done now, Rafa, I mean, you're a great footballer. I've seen your highlights and everything else. But what you've done now, you're trying to incorporate that. I get the sense that you want to incorporate that with your team that you're coaching on Sunday now. You've got some players together in the shortest amount of time, and you've got a brand of football that you're trying to incorporate onto these boys and onto the league, which is a league which is kind of physical. I mean, it's very rare you see a side play the way you do. And I just think that's a brilliant, beautiful thing to see as well. I would love to see more of that at this grassroots level, So that's why I was so impressed when we played against you. It was like, wow, we couldn't even get the ball, the way you're keeping the ball and bringing it out. And I think to myself, hold on a minute, most of your players just got the basics right, the fundamentals. So it just shows you how important it is to be a good coach and teach them a style of play, which is effective, because my players can do the same, I think, majority of them, control, pass, and thing, but it's hard to get the message through to them. So that's why I'm so impressed with the way you deliver, whether you train with them, how long it takes. So there's so many questions I have to ask you. But just talk to me about why you got this Sunday team together. And am I right? Is it just to incorporate your brand of football onto the Sunday league scene?
So one of my good friends, he started this club. He's basically the chairman, and he scored against Woodlands as well, I think, in that game. So he's the captain, he's the chairman and everything. And in March, he asked me if I wanted to play. on a Sunday morning, and I thought, no, I'm playing Saturday. I don't want to, risk an injury on a Sunday morning. And at the time, I was just doing my FA level 1 just for fun. Like, I was just doing it because I could. And then I thought, wow, perfect timing. I might as well just say, you know what, let's just go right into the dark and see what happens. So I said to him, yeah, I can come and coach if you'd like. He said, yeah, okay, cool. You're my coach then, done, sorted. So then we started pre-season training in June, and we got players in, and I rejected so many players. For a Sunday league team, even the players were surprised. I said, no, because
on what count were you rejecting players? I mean, what was give me an example of why you rejecting players?
Yeah, so I would be involved in the training. So I train with my team as well. So in the training, when I would do a possession drill, I would notice that, okay, their touch under pressure in that small space isn't as sharp as it should be. So even if they keep training with us, I know that this touch won't improve because naturally they're not as fluid with the ball as someone else. So I require like a bit of fluidity naturally, and then I can build on that. But if they're a bit technically inadequate in terms of like they have to take an extra touch to secure the ball, it's a bit difficult for me to get them onto my team. So it's a bit harsh, but it's the truth, because the style of football is brutal as well. You have to be ruthless with the passing and the touch and everything. So we did the training sessions. We did a lot of training, like Wednesday, Sunday, until we got a good team. And then what I looked for was the mental side of it. Can they understand what I'm talking about? Do they understand that if the centre-back has the ball and I'm a midfielder and the centre-back's not being pressed, my best option is to stay further away from the ball. Respect my centre-back, let him come with the ball until he's pressed, then you offer. Don't just think that, okay, let me go to the ball, let me get it, let me look busy, sideways passing and this stuff, because you're getting nowhere. So I was looking at that point. Do they understand that staying away from the ball sometimes benefits your team? Like if you look at Messi, he just walks far away and then he gets involved and he's in. So I looked at that aspect as well.
I don't know if you should be comparing non-league players to Messi.
but the point is, like, sometimes you don't want to suffocate your teammate's space, because if I'm coming to the ball, I'm getting pressed, then the team's under pressure. So the mental side of it, I really focused on in training. We didn't do a lot of fitness at the beginning. It was all mental, because once they understood that, the fitness is very easy to do. And I could see that slowly they're understanding it, training session by training session. And all we did was possession drills. We didn't do no shooting, no crossing, no defending, no set pieces. All we did was possession, different variations. Maybe it was 8v6, 7v4, 5v5, 4v5, let the men in 4 work our way through. So we did possession until we got a team that is right now really fluid with the way they play, and they understand the tactics I give them. Yeah.
Brilliant. Bath time, anything to add to that?
No, not really. I'm not part of the team. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Like, how many trials did you go through though to get that churn of players?
So I think we had around 50 players overall who wanted to come and join us. So in every training session,
did you advertise Rafa then?
Yeah, my friend did a lot of advertising on the website, and we got a lot of DMs. So we said, yes, come down. So out of 50, we managed to nail it down to 19, and only 5 of them were from the first ever training session. So we've got 14 in here and there, like through June and July, and then we were ready for August and the friendlies, and then September is when the season started. Yeah.
That's really quite fresh. Let's just go through a few comments here. Jeff's saying here, better to be 2-footed. Most certainly. I mean, RIP Bobby Charlton. I just realised how 2-footed he was. Just looking at some of the highlights with him shooting as well, parking. No problem. Bath time, are you a licensed coach as well? That's from Jeff.
No.
Andrew Williams saying, I also moved around a lot of teams. As soon as they saw me play for a few months, they knew I was no good. So big up Andrew Williams. Keep it going. Big up Stephanie as well. Thank you very much. Jeff saying here, League 1 and 2 are brutal, but real skill stands out and it shows. I tend to agree with that. World War One. Yeah, that's a good analogy there. Bath time equals Energizer by the Bunny. Yeah, because you can't stop running, can you? on the pitch. Big up everyone from Matthew Bassett, midfielder as well. Hopefully, Matthew will come and play for us against COP TV next year. And Jeff saying, talking to Matthew about the weather. Here's one. Jeff saying, fewest amount of accurate passes to create a chance if given the space. Is that a question? It's got a question mark. Okay.
I mean, Guardiola said it was 18, if that's any help, Jeff. Because the thing is it's not just about creating a chance, it's about getting defensive structures up the pitch. You have to be concerned about, you have to be wary of conceding as much as you are of scoring. Because it's, it's small margins, football. So sometimes, like, if you just go, like, direct, the way United did in the past, in the league now, you get absolutely killed.
Yeah.
So what's the we talk about risk and reward? I mean, like the English game, it's all from players. Let's say you've got a goal kick and you're playing out from the back. The risk and reward would be usually pump the ball to the halfway line and 50-50 if you're going to win a duel or something to get possession high up the pitch. If you remember Graham Taylor back in the day, I mean John Barnes, what a talent! But balls were just pumped into the channel for him, and see he can win first or second ball and then get on the ball then. But I think what you've shown is, especially at the Sunday League level, playing out from the back. Just you want to like the risk and reward of it, because if you get pinched high up the pitch, they're closer to your goal. There's a likely chance they might score. So how do you like drill this through to the players? Apart from training, just give us examples of a set way that you would play out from the back, or incorporating the midfielder and the defence. Just get to the halfway line.
Yeah. So first of all, I've told the players that they have the full license from me to concede a goal from playing out. Just so mentally. Good. They know, like, if I play a bad pass that ends up with the opposition strike and they score, they will still start the next game if they're always good. Like, for me, that's not the issue. So I would always have so I play like a back three with like a midfield four and then a front three, sort of like Man City, but slightly different. So then I would have the central centre back next to the goalkeeper, and then I would bring one of the best player on the ball in the middle next to the goalkeeper on the other side. So even if he's an attacking mid, he'll come next to the goalkeeper, and then the left. So it'll just be a back four, central centre back, centre mid, and then left centre back, right centre back, and then that leaves the midfield, the remaining three, and then the front three. So it's just like the centre back starts with the ball, passes it to the keeper. So then the opposition still don't know which way the keeper will go. So it's one pass, the keeper can edge it forward, and then whichever way he goes, it's one big touch forward just to encourage a lot of pressure. And then from there, I've told them to make as many passing options as possible, and then we're out. It requires 2 to 3 passes to get to the halfway line, especially at Sunday League with the press, because they don't really press with a structure, I've noticed. So they probably press with 2. One of them doesn't know what to do. So it's usually just 1, 2, maybe 3, and we're out. And then it's about what we do in the final third, which has been a bit of a difficulty for us. Yeah.
Did I hear that right, Rafa? So you've got a centre midfielder in the box on a goal kick to bring the ball out?
Yeah.
So there's one centre back and one centre midfielder. So what happens to the other centre back? I missed that. Where would the other centre back?
So the right centre back, left centre back go on the touch line. So it's a back four.
They're on a touch line.
So So left back,
so
right
not in
back.
The box, not in the penalty box.
No. They just go like on the line.
Okay.
So the left centre. So in the back three, the left one goes here, right one goes out there. That leaves the central centre back and the centre mid there. So it's like a back four.
Okay. Wow.
And then so it goes from the central centre back to the keeper. The keeper edges it. Depending on which way he goes, it takes 1 or 2 passes and we're out. And then we just start playing from there. I haven't given specific patterns of play because I've given them the freedom just to make options and angles for triangle passes and rotation, and we're out. It's just the first bit I focus on, and then the rest is up to them. I mean, they're like very good players, so I just give it to them to do it all.
Half time. What do you think about that? Because we've talked about playing after the back. We've seen Ten Hag have issues with it, and now we've got a goalkeeper like Nana who does help with that problem. Half time. What's your thoughts on the way Rafa's bringing it out from the back?
It's a variation on the Salida Volpiana. Of dropping a midfielder in to create like a back three, but you do it with the goalkeeper, and it allows you to get out on both sides. So it's interesting because essentially all you've done is move the double pivot into your own box that allows you to get out on both sides.
Yeah.
I mean, are you? Yes, it's interesting. Is your team as good like down both flanks?
They're
Are they watching? Honest, coach, be honest.
I did send a link to this on their group chat.
Yeah.
I think the thing is, because of availability, we haven't had our best lineup yet. Or I think we have. I would say we are slightly better starting on the left. No, sorry, starting on the right, but moving to the left.
Right.
So when we attack, we're better off building on the right to bring the opposition, and then one or two passes out to the left, and we just go from there. That's what I think our team is like. Yeah.
So how you've obviously got some good players in your team, but if someone's got the ability to hit a 40, 50-yard pass, do you encourage that, or do you sort of ask them to recycle it around the players? What's your...
No, absolutely. I honestly don't mind that. So I've told them, on the pitch, use your strength as much as possible. If you see a diag available,
yeah.
If you've gone short 10 times, 11th time, do the diag if you see it's on. Because then the opposition might say, wow, so this guy can hit the diag and can play short. Do we drop off?
Can the guy control it, though?
Sorry?
Can your player control a diagonal from the centre back of 40 or 50 yards?
Yeah, our players are quite good. Yeah. Technically, yeah. We have overall everyone's technically very, very good for even step 8, step 7 on a Saturday. They are honestly on Monday night we beat AFC Southall 3-0.
Yeah, sure. The highlights. Yeah.
So, Rafa, is this what you're doing?
Oh, here we go.
Is this what you're doing here? Making a back four with the goalkeeper and a midfielder, and then
No, so it would be the back four would be the centre mid and the centre back with the goalkeeper just in behind. So it's still
right, yeah, okay. So it's a diamond between the three.
Yes,
of the keeper and the centre.
Yeah, and then the ball playing obviously centre midfielder who's dropped in. I've usually encouraged as soon as he gets the ball from the goalkeeper, he's got to drive out and combine, and then he'll just drive into the middle, and then everyone else just tucks in as the back three. So the left centre back. So it's almost like what Stones and Guardiola are doing, in a way.
Yeah, that Salida Volpiana, perfect.
Yeah, and then our goalkeeper is actually quite good with the ball, but it's difficult to really get him to understand. I want him to sort of bring it forward, because he's a goalkeeper. But I've told him look, come out with the ball as much as you can.
Yeah.
So then we don't have to put the centre midfielder there. We can almost be a 4-4-3. I've tried, but we'll see how far that can work, because he comes forward a bit and then he just passes it. Yeah.
And what sort of problems have you encountered with the players now? They're set in their ways. You've had a few months of training now, and you jumped straight to the first division. We're in the third division, which is the level's not that great, but I know a lot of teams in the first division, and they've got maybe 4 or 5 good players, strong, physical. And I'm just thinking I want to come and watch one of the games. I'm thinking about the clash of styles. What sort of issues are you having against these top teams in that division?
It's just, so what happened 2 weeks ago, we lost 5-3 to Parkfield Sundays.
They're a good side. There you go.
They are a good side, but on the pitch, I could see that we're clearly better than them. We dominate every game.
Yeah.
The only thing was defensive transition is we needed to work on it a lot, because and I told them after the game that's my fault, because we've done everything on the ball. We've done in possession, attack drills, combination play. I haven't focused on out of possession. As soon as we lose the ball, what do we do? So against Parkfield, all we did was we went to their final third, one loose ball, they just lumped it forward. It's 1v1, and then that's how we conceded.
It's frustrating, isn't it? That is frustrating.
Rafa,
like-
is this? I just want to get this right. Oh, for God's sake, that's the wrong one. I'm so sorry.
Come
I
again.
have my board here if you'd like.
Yeah, go on. Let's see if you can bring that up.
I just want to
Okay.
illustrate it for the viewers.
Yeah. So let me get it here. So it would be like this. Wait, where is it?
So the 4 and 5, the midfielder, the creative midfielder is one of the 4 or 5.
Yes, it's just
Yeah.
a 4-3-3, but the aim is when this centre back would start with the ball, give it to the
Give
keeper,
it to the keeper. Yeah.
and then he comes forward.
Yeah.
And then the aim is we have 1, 2, 3. So we have a 4 here, and then the rest can just stay high. And then as soon as 1 or 2 passes have been made, there's always a way out. And then the aim is for the centre midfielder to just drive with the ball, and then these guys just tuck in. So it's like a 3-4 and then a front 3, essentially.
How successful has that been? I mean, is it a consistent thing? The guys are really confident doing that now.
Yes, because they've seen it work a lot, so they know that, like, this is the formula. So almost with players, when they see that a tactic works, they're naturally going to do it more often. And I've given the license for, let's say, one of the centre midfielders, if they're far away from the game, let the other one drop in, because all our centre midfielders are ball players. So I've given that freedom, which when the opposition see that, wait, this guy was in the penalty box, now it's someone else. Where's he gone? Oh, he's on, like, left attacking mid. What's going on? Like, I've given them that much freedom, and I've told them, like, only the centre back and the number 9, they sort of stay true to their positions.
Yeah.
Just to pin either end, and then everyone else can have the freedom to rotate. It's like when we do possession drill, we go from end to end, and that's literally what we're doing in a game. We're going from that end. Maybe it's a set to go forward, and that's how we really play.
So what about when you come up against a low block? I mean, when someone decides, wow, we're blowing here, we're just going to sit back 2 lines of 4 and prevent you from having any space to play. I mean, what sort of mode do you go into then?
Yeah, and that answers the question about our difficulty. That has been our difficulty, and that is expected from a possession-based team. It's about, and then they sometimes try to force it, and then when we lose it, we get countered, and it's like, okay, don't get bored of just playing that. I know it's boring, but play that sideways pass. Just wait for the opening, or just. And I've told them, like, don't. You have the license from me to just drive. If you're good at driving with the ball, drive forward and just see what happens. Because, like, instinctively, you'll find a way through if you're naturally confident at dribbling, and you'll see what happens. And a lot of the times, like, we lost another game 4-2 in the Division 1 to Green Hill Rangers, and that was literally. Yeah, they're actually quite decent. But
when I say good team, there's certain players are really good.
Yeah, so we conceded in the first minute, and and then they literally just sat back. Like, they were pressing with 1 man, and that was it, because everyone else was behind the ball. So then I told everyone, except for the 2 centre backs, to just get high, because it's a 2v1, we'll get out. And we just struggle to create very, very clear-cut chances. And I've told them to be more positive in taking shots. No one really wants to take a shot outside the box except for like 1 or 2 players, and it's like they forget to score sometimes. So I've had to always tell them, like, guys, we need to be ruthless. So it's all well and good, building. When we're around the D shape, especially on a wet pitch, hit it low, see what happens. Maybe deflection, another deflection, it goes in, it bumbles in, I don't mind. Like, we need to be adventurous in the attacking third. That's our only slight issue at the moment.
Playing between the lines is hard.
Yeah,
it is, especially when sometimes the balls are always bobbling and bouncing around. It's very difficult, and I can feel for the players. And recently I've started to think, if I can build the play round the wings, where it's slightly easier, there's no, like, pocket passes. So sometimes our defenders zip it into our midfielder, but the midfielder has a man on him, and then that just puts us under pressure. That's what happened against Parkfield. So I've told them, I am going to tell them, I mean, if we can play round the edges, so if the centre-back can go wide, and then we can play another wide pass, and then create like a 2v1 on the wings, that could work against a low block, instead of always trying to go through them, as I like to do.
What's the term, Bathtime, you always say about breaking. You can either go through.
You go around, through, or over a block. But like one thing you might want to try there, Rafa, is that like I think it might have been Sheffield Wednesday or Sheffield United a few seasons ago who tried overlapping centre backs.
Yeah.
If you've got ball players that are good on the ball, like Mourinho used to do this against Real Madrid, against Barcelona all the time, where Piqué was the spare man. And it happens now at Man City with Stones, where the drive comes from the centre back.
Yeah.
Like, so he just like everyone sort of blocked. The pivots or the 2-8s go to make that 2v1 on the wings, and the centre back just drives through. It's like it's really effective. Like
we saw that with Tyrone Mings, didn't we? And
Tyrone Mings, bruv. Like, that guy destroyed us. Like when you're talking about Brendan Ball out of defence earlier, that's who I was thinking of, because at like in this channel we used to get asked quite a lot about why Martinez was giving the ball to De Gea at a goal kick. Like, Martinez take the goal kick, give it to De Gea. It's so you can get out on both sides and things like that. And then he would get the ball up the pitch, obviously not through carries, but through breaking the lines and stuff. But Tyrone bloody Mings, when we were 2-0 up, he just drove. Yeah. Every single time he got it, he drove, and obviously another big left footer. But it is interesting. So do you try and get your players to play through the block, receive in between the lines?
Yeah. So
good luck. That's all I can say. Good luck.
Yeah. So because for me personally, an attractive way of football and an enjoyable way is to play like right through, because it's slightly busier there, so it requires more of that.
Yeah, it's tippy tappy.
Yeah, delicate touch and delicate set, little flicks. So I've encouraged them to, a bit like Brighton, obviously, with waiting to be pressed and then to play round, like to play
synthetic transitions. I'm not a fan of it, but I know I rate it. Like they just sit there, get the ball on the sole, wiggle it about, wait for someone to come, and then they'll go. Yeah. And I'm not a fan of this. I much prefer. I just think it's kind of like, I don't know, a synthetic diamond or something like that. You want the real diamond. You don't want one made in a lab. And I feel that all of Brighton's goals are sort of created like there's a think tank somewhere.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. Okay. And it lacks because the problem with, like, I've played a lot of positional football, but when I was playing in Chile, we used to play this thing called La Nuestra, which is a very old Argentinian school of football, and it's about getting on diagonals. So, like in possession football, you want players occupying half spaces, someone out wide. Like you talk about your striker, like pinning players. None of this. What you basically, the team revolves around like where each other is. And so you get on diagonals. Like if you think of Cole and York against Barcelona, where he steps over the ball, they're on a diagonal, and that diagonal was from Beckham, but it was also from like Stam to Keane to Beckham and things like that. And I always find that's a much more fun way of playing football because it's more natural rotations and changes, and you don't need to coach it. You just say get on a diagonal. If you look at Benzema, Real Madrid or wherever he's now, Al Hilal, that guy was absolutely brilliant at doing something we used to call tables, where he comes in to provide the table for the third man run. But because it's on a diagonal, it's just all he does is poke it around a corner. So like 6 or 7, and then you're through. Yeah. And I've always found against English low blocks, they find this really difficult to deal with, or. What are you boys in step 5, step 6?
You play.
I play.
Yeah, but what are the boys who coach? Just lump it at the goalkeeper. Easy.
Yeah.
Just keep smacking it at the keeper.
All right, guys, let's just jump in some comments here.
Yeah, sorry.
They're coming through. Mr. B saying, ahem. So I'm asking our guest, are you playing for the agenda versus Cop Talk? We play against another channel, Liverpool channel. We need Man United players, Man United agenda representatives to play for us. Do you want the number 7 shirt next year? Charity game.
Do you want to tell him what the age group is on Monday before you offer it?
Yeah, well, we're all in our 50s.
It's over 50s.
Yeah.
One half.
All right, we'll come on to that. Our time's going up. Jeff saying here, bath time. That's why I was looking for an answer. Raf was talking about an open space. Omondi is getting to what I wanted. So that was a while back.
Oh.
You know what we're talking about there with Jeff? Talking about Raf was talking about an open space.
I think it's to do with the passes. He asked a question about like how many passes to access spaces and things.
Big up to Hydro. How you doing?
Yeah, so I always encourage, like, I always talk about vertical, like, passing lanes. So I always say when the centre back gets it, can 2 midfielders almost stand vertically but slightly at an angle, so it goes to the furthest midfielder who sets this one, and then he can play forward. Because that's literally, it just requires one touch. You're not doing any half turn, any flicks, any tricks. You could have a man on you. If the pass is good enough, you just set the guy, the third man, and then he's
third man
space.
combination is this.
Yeah. And
I can't,
yeah.
Can they do it?
Yeah. If you
I
see on
trained with a
Instagram,
lot of good players for a very long time, and we've rarely got it to work because of the pressure coming in on on
we
the
can do
second
it.
man.
If you have a check of our my Instagram
Is this
page,
where I've seen it? You say pass the ball slower.
yeah, that's the one. And
Not a
and in
chance.
games it works. Yeah,
Really?
it does because the quality is there for that set, and their awareness of space is there as well. So when the right centre back gets it, the right attacking mid knows that I'm going to stay like in one straight line, and then the DM will be at an angle for that set, and then we just play.
Yeah, diagonals. But like, one of the most like sort of common midfield pressing triggers is when 2 players are on a straight line, like because you can jump the line. Is this like in sort of like in the level I play at now? I sort of compare it a bit to a computer game, where like at the end of like Super Mario, you got Bowser, looking like Omondi there, and you've got to beat Bowser in order to get to the next level. I find that like sort of like lower down the leagues, you don't like all these things like third man combinations are like they're sort of to bait those triggers and things like that, where you'll get someone to jump and things. So like I assume that you're doing it because this is how you want to play football, as opposed to it being the most effective method of getting you points.
I mean, yeah, it's almost like I want to play like this, and if it's not effective, then I'll adapt. But I've seen it; it's very effective. It works.
Yeah.
It's like 2 or 3 vertical passes. It just collapses.
I imagine they can't believe what they're seeing when it happens.
Yeah, yeah. I've heard the opposition, like their centre midfielder, saying, "Who do I mark?" There's like 3 guys around me, and it's 3 guys because I've told them in possession there's fluidity. So like the left winger comes in next to the attacking mid. So like in possession, I've told them there's no like structure. It's like combination play and relationship between.
This is La Nuestra.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. Like check it out afterwards. You'll really like it.
Let me just note it down. La Nuestra.
Yeah, it means hours in Spanish. I'll put it in the chat for everyone because they all love the sound of my keyboard.
Yeah, so I've told them just get into certain positions where the ball will be there to just create overloads and then pocket combination play. Like I haven't gone through any specific pattern because it's like in goals 5-a-side or 7-a-side football, you never do that, and then you see some beautiful passing and goals. So I'm like, why can't I do that on a Sunday pitch with a bit of structure from the back? But after the first third or the first phase or whatever, it's almost like I'm seeing things that I would have never thought of. But they just do it because it's like they're in flow, they have the freedom, and they just pop, switch, come back in, shoot, goal, miss, or whatever, and we just do it again.
But you keep getting done on transitions. Is that
lack
of a resting defence because of that?
Yeah, so on
structure.
Monday night when we beat Southall on Monday night, in my team talk, all I focused on was off the ball. And when I watched the game again, because we have a camera, I was so happy because all I told them was out of possession, you're gonna let the left back, left wing, right wing think that they have the space. So we're very compact in the middle, and the trigger, as soon as it goes out, the closest man gets to the ball and we all lock on. Let them switch it if they're good enough. But if the ball's in the air, we have time to shuffle.
Are you calling the trigger? Like, have you got a player that like calls it?
No, on Monday night I was calling it.
You're calling it.
So
what's your shout? What's your shout for the trigger?
Ball. As in, like.
What's your shout? Bath time.
Pop.
Was it?
Everyone. Also, if you hear someone say pop, you got to say pop as well.
So we say mango.
Pop.
Mango, yeah,
mangoes. Yeah.
No, I say ball, which means like go.
Yeah.
And then if the left back gives it back to the centre back, and then we feel like, okay, we're going to start doing sprints, then I say zone. So just relax. And I've told them if the centre backs make like 2 or 3, 4 passes, then we can slowly edge forward. Yeah. And then the closest man goes, and then we just lock on from there. But it's all about letting them think that they can go to the wings, and then we just attack, like we just latch onto them. And on Monday, we did that really well. So I'm going to use that as a blueprint to continue to do that. Because before that, in other games, we looked a bit shaky off the ball. And I just don't want that again, because it's very frustrating on the sideline.
Just before we come back to Bath time, Mr. B saying this is a great listen, guys. And Mr. B runs a Saturday team as well. He's part of the channel. He's got a Saturday team. It's useful information for all of us here. Matthew Bassett saying we always watch the opposition in the warm-up to find out their weaknesses. The suspect goalkeeper, player uncomfortable with the ball, etc., and just target them as well. That's a quick observation, isn't it? You only got a few minutes to do that. Jeff saying here, Matthew Bassett, a good spy network is vital. I know what you mean, especially if you have moved LP divisions or they have new players. Matthew Bassett again is saying here, our best system is using the false 9 as our wide forwards. We're very similar to Mane and Salah. I generally drift to the wide left position and allow our left back to play inverted and our left forward to play narrow. As Matthew Bassett saying there. Matthew, you got to come down to London, man. Give the vid a like. Thank you, Hydro. Jeff saying here, does Raf think Erik ten Hag is totally frustrated with Mount, Bruno, Ericsson lack of physicality to maintain possession, which limits his ability to play the style of football he wants? Solutions in the squad. Let's come back to that. Remember this, I'm going to tag that because Mr. B is saying here, does Sunday boggy pitches affect your style of play? That's 2 questions we're going to come back to. And here, as Bath time said, I'm no good at Spanish, but how do you pronounce it?
Nuestra.
I can't say that.
Say salida volpiamo.
I can't say these words. This midfielder dropping in the middle.
Yeah, easy.
All right, let's want to tackle these questions here. Let's start with Mr. B's one. Does Sunday boggy pitches affect your style of play? I think that's a great question.
It does, but also it doesn't. So it does, as in we know we have to take that extra touch or maybe extra second touch to secure it and then to play. But our midfield, their technical ability is very, very good. Like they can control that bouncy pass and then pop it. If it means we have to do 2 or 3 extra backward passes to be able to turn and face forward, we do it. So sometimes we can take it on the half turn straight away. But sometimes, okay, if it's bouncing, I'm going to control and set you, make another angle, and then we'll play. So it slows it down, but we still don't change the style. A couple of times I have told the goalkeeper that in the first 5-6 minutes you can go long. So play that first pass to the centre back, get it back, and then fake to play short and then just go. If you feel like the pitch is not good enough to play like that one pass that's going to bobble. But in general, it hasn't really affected us. The only thing, as I said, is the speed of going forward.
I think we should be asking this question in February. I think the pitch is holding up just about. Even though yours got rained off last weekend, did it? Last time
we got flooded off.
Flooded! Wow, unbelievable. We're right down south. Jeff's saying here, we can tackle this one now. Raf, does Raf think Erik ten Hag is totally frustrated with Mount, Bruno, and Ericsson lack of physicality to maintain possession, which limits the ability to play the style of football that he wants? Solutions in this squad. We've got a few minutes left. Let's talk about Man United and what. I'll leave that up for you just to refresh Mount, Bruno, Ericsson, lack of physicality to maintain possession and limit his ability to play the style he wants with our manager, Ten Hag.
I think he does, but I think he's more impressed with Mount just because of the off-the-ball pressing. Because there was this one game, I forgot which game it was, where he was pressing the opposition right back and centre mid in one go. Because Amrabat was left back, I think. But I think if you look at Ajax's team, it was Frenkie de Jong, who's a proper athlete, who just covers ground, is physical on the ball as well. So I think he's missing that sort of all-rounder box-to-box player. Because Casemiro and Amrabat, I see them as more of just sitters, not progressors like back and forth, personally. So I think he's missing one player from a proper build-up, personally. But I don't know about you guys.
I think when Jeff talks about like physicality, the one person that stands out to me most who lacks in this is Anthony. Like, Anthony does this thing where he tries to get his shoulder across his man as he separates from them, and it's appalling. I can't believe a professional footballer of £70 million worth is doing schoolyard stuff to get through. With Mount, Bruno, and Ericsson, we haven't seen a lot of Mount, but a bit like Rafa, I like what I see in terms of like his pressing, and the pressing structure's improved a lot this year. The only issue we have is that actually, if you watch Anthony in games, he's constantly checking his shoulder for Delot. I'm not like Delot might not be up to speed with the rest of them because he's got to cover the winger and the fullback, and I'm not sure he has his distances down yet. But with Mount is great at attacking the channel, and like he's really good at it, and it's like Rashford needs someone doing that because he's still too unbalanced to play inside without getting knocked about or taking stupid pot shots. I think Eriksen's physicality is a bit underrated. He's a tractor, but he keeps going. He's like that 60-year-old farm machinery that never needs to be replaced. It's but it keeps going. And Bruno's just an odd player because he doesn't have.
I'm still not convinced by him. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Is he for a guy who says he doesn't mind his defence to like concede a goal playing the right way? Surely you must love Bruno and his scampy nature of giving the ball away to just see what happens.
But that's just too much. It's like I think he does it. He sometimes gives the ball away when he shouldn't, and then he keeps the ball away when there's a risk. He keeps the ball when there's a risk. I'm not sure.
Do you think it's where he's playing? Like because he's playing like. So the right side midfielder is normally box to box, isn't it? And he's the one that's got to cover all the space and stuff. So in the system where Mount is the left sided A and Bruno's right sided A, Bruno's very separated from everyone. But Anthony, and so he keeps hitting them diagonals to Rashford. And I don't actually think Rashford's control is particularly good for long diagonal passes. Nor's Garnacho's, to be honest. So I think if we swap Bruno back to where he played under Ollie on that left-hand side,
in the middle,
you'll see a big difference. Yeah, just slightly left, so that you get that diamond of him, Shaw, Martial, and Rashford. So it could be now Reguilon or whatever, but you would have those four players there, and that was our only pattern of play for quite a long time. And now we got
especially
isolated.
Lockdown.
Yeah. NHS football was incredible.
NHS.
Big up to Jeff. Jeff saying it seems the three of them are easily dispossessed. He's talking about Mount, Ericsson, and Bruno, I think it is. Yeah, he's talking about them. And big up to Slylist United. They're in the house and asking. They want to know how to send a question. But just the same way you just made a comment, just throw one in. Make it quick though, because we're going to wrap up very soon. We come up to an hour now. Rafa, now. It's been fantastic talking to you. Obviously, there's so much more we can talk about on the show. Hopefully, you'll come on again when you got some free time and join the two of us and discuss more football. And we would love to see your progression throughout the season because I just think it's an interesting project that you're doing right now, especially the league that you chose to go into the top league, come up against these teams. And I think eventually the way, because I've seen the highlights and I want to come and watch the game, but I've seen eventually you're going to dominate these games. And there's a lot of whispers and rumors around. I'm involved in the league meetings and things like that. People are impressed, but they don't like you. As in, it's frustrating because they see individual. I think what it is, they see individual players, especially in the top league, where they think I'm better than him, but it's the team structure and what you're doing as a manager is what's bringing you success. I think a lot of your players maybe might not be able to get into these teams that they're playing because they think, I don't need this guy, he's not very good or whatever, not physically big enough or strong enough. But it's the team. Seeing these guys turn up and give you the runaround, give them a runaround, I think it's really frustrating for a lot of guys. And just mind you don't get kicked too much because I think that's what's coming soon. The frustration.
It has already.
Oh, it has. Okay.
Yeah, and I've told the players, please don't react. Let me do all your talking. I'll get your red card because the way we want to play requires like full focus. And then if there's a few like angry comments at the ref, sorry, Justin. Anyway, yeah. So so I've told them it requires full focus, and if we don't have that focus, we'll be put off our game. So I've told them, let me do everything. You just focus on the game, and we'll see. Yeah.
There's new FA rules now, isn't it, about disciplinary if anyone's swearing or fighting or things, you can get docked points or it can affect the club. So you have to be so careful. And I think the frustration comes, that's plan B for teams. When they can't get near you, they're going to try and ruffle you or upset you in somehow. So to all you slidest players out there, listen to the boss and don't react. Don't get into no fisticuffs or anything like that.
And also just to add, like I'm very happy to hear that there are teams that potentially don't like us. It means that we're doing something different, something new. Yeah. So I'm all for that.
All right, a couple more coming up. WWE 2K saying, good evening, how's peeps? Disjointed game yesterday. Hopefully the ending can start the season off. So hopefully we can move on from the result. Jeff in here. Rafa, please come back and talk United tactics and keep us up to date with your badge progression as well. That's from Jeff. Jeff's a referee in America. He's a big part of the channel as well. So he's
don't hold it against him.
Just hope he's not a Liverpool fan. No, he's a Man U fan, that's for sure. Big up here. And we've got a question here from Slightest United. Could you rate Rafa's appearance out of 10?
Could you?
Oh, that's for me and you, Bart.
Easy.
All right. Let's break this down.
It's an easy 9 out of 10. It would be a 10 out of 10, but anyone who has confidence written on a shirt makes me think that they're trying to hide something. So come back with humble next time, and we'll give you a 10.
I'm gonna give you a 9 as well. Great presentation.
This is actually a Muhammad Ali. This is actually a Muhammad Ali hoodie, and it just says it on there. So
brilliant. I'm a big fan of Muhammad Ali. So great presentation, great articulation of your points. It made it easy for us to understand, and I think that's the thing. I mean, even for like a monkey could understand your tactics, the way you deliver. Guys, I'm going to give you a moment now, Rafa, to please, guys, go and seek him out. Go and support his channel. Go and support Slylist FC, Harrow Challenge League, First Division. You can find them on FA. What's it called again, Rafa? The FA Full-Time FA website. Type in Harrow Challenge Sunday League. Go to Division 1, and you'll find Slylist FC. And go to Instagram as well. I'm going to leave this hand over to you, Rafa, to sort of shout out where we can find you, and hopefully all the Man United agendaites will come over and support you as well on your journey. So over to you, Rafa. Just let us know where we can find you, all your socials and what I haven't mentioned already.
Yeah. Thank you. So it's my page is The Honest Football Coach. So The Honest Football Coach, and our team's account is Slice United FC. But I post all the highlights and all the tactics, and we post pre-game team talks, halftime team talks, post-game talks, and interviews as well. I'm going to get that involved. So there you go, The Honest Football Coach, and that's the same on Instagram and TikTok. So I'm just posting to create a platform where who knows what could happen if I keep posting. And the aim for me is we're in 4 or 5 cups along with the league. The aim is to see how much of them we can win, honestly. We're not here just to, I've told the boys, we're not here to be a number in the league. We're here to,
We're here to get on Love Island.
Love Island. I must say, I've seen the draw. I've seen the draw for the Jack Walker Cup. That's the whole League Cup, and we are far away from you. I don't want to be playing you anytime soon.
No.
Sure. but I must say,
it would be a good story to face you in the final. That would be interesting.
Amazing.
Have you two not played?
Yeah, we played already, but it's pre-season. I can't take much from that. But what we did do, I did my research beforehand, and we did sort of say to that these guys are brilliant. They play like Brighton. I've seen. I'll tell you now. That one of our guys who came to play with us,
Sarib.
He was one. No, not Sarib. No, he was one of the trialists that didn't make it. So he gave us the heads up. He said, "Oh my God, these guys. This is their book, their golden book, your Bible of how you play your football, everything else." So we thought, okay, all right, what we're going to do here, big pitch, how are we going to cope with this? So I consulted Bath Time. We came up with a strategy to sort of try and prevent you from playing. It wasn't necessarily a low block, but just like a diagonal midfield. So the left was over on the right hand side. The left winger would be maybe centre midfield or DM, and stop you from playing between the lines of that. I don't think the guys got it, but we just had to work hard. You had a lot of the ball, and I think we were a bit fortunate to be in the end. We had a free kick, but you guys were fantastic, and I have to give full credit to you. And it's all love, all respect. I know I was doing a line, I was invading your technical area. I saw
such a terror OMONDI.
I tell you. I had to do the line because I've got like 10, 15 players on the bench, and none of them.
And no one wants to do it. I remember.
I'm trying to coach and everything else. I thought, fuck it. Excuse my language. F it. I'll do it. So I ended up doing it, and I was doing it barefoot because it was so hot that day, and doing a line. And after the game, I saw a rapper. He said, and they even come in our technical areas trying to sneak out tactics. No, that wasn't. But great stuff. But I just think it'll be interesting to play you again if we don't meet in the league or in the cup. In the cup. Maybe we can arrange another friendly next year. And I think it's great experience for us to play against the team and work on something because most teams are quite similar in the league, as you know. So yeah, couple more here. Sorry. Do you reckon you can beat us again on Monday? I think it's a challenge. It's a real challenge. You were only 2 months into the season. You've just got together. I think it's been really difficult to beat you. Look at that smile of Rafa. He's frozen.
Yeah.
Fantastic, incisive listen from all the guests. That's from Matthew Bassett. Thanks for the interesting hour, says Jeff. It flew by. It certainly did. Thanks, Rafa, for coming on the podcast, mate. All the best. And don't forget the Honest Football Coach. That's on Instagram and TikTok and all socials as well. So from us, guys, any last words from you, Bath Time? You enjoyed the show?
Yeah.
Okay. And I think you're back with us now, Rafa. Bit of technical difficulty there. Yep. All right. On that note, we're going to sign out. Rafa will be here to the end. But guys, thanks again. Don't forget, we're back tomorrow. We're doing a preview for the big derby coming up soon. And thanks for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow, 8:30 or 9 o'clock. Just check us out. Later.